This is something that we've talked about, and I want to emphasize it here again for people that didn't hear it the last time. Every year you age, every year that I age, we age faster. In plainer words, when you go from 20 to 21, your deterioration of your body is not very much. So going from 20 to 21, we don't see much in terms of drops in hormones, right? It's negligible, if at all, right? You're going strong at 21. We do see it 18 to 21, right? 18, you're out of control if you're a boy. You're just thinking about whatever all the time, right? Every year you die a little bit more, from 20 to 21, from 21 to 22, from 22 to 23, from 23 to 24. Every year, the rate of aging accelerates, which means that going from 78 to 79 is about, 10, 20 times faster aging than 20 to 21. Do you see what I'm saying? So the rate of deterioration increases. This is something that we talk about in medical school, the rate at which a person deteriorates. We also talk about things called allostasis and homeostasis. Homeostasis is the body's ability to regulate itself, right? And as we get older, it's harder and harder for the body to regulate itself, to attain homeostasis. And so to attain homeostasis, healthy levels in the body to maintain a healthy life, a healthy blood pressure, healthy blood levels, healthy blood gases, all the things that go, healthy kidney function, liver function, etc. In order to attain homeostasis as we get older, we have to take more and more pharmaceuticals because of this idea of exponential aging. The older you get, the faster you age. So going from 78 to 79 is an exponential growth. It's a leap in terms of your aging that you wouldn't see from 20 to 21. So this is the first thing that we understand as physicians, as healthcare providers, is we understand that aging is something that accelerates. Deterioration of the body accelerates with every year. So this is the first thing I would say that's a problem when you elect. You're in denial if you elect a president over a certain age. We must accept the limitations of our bodies and not be arrogant. This is why Biden stepped down. He understood these concepts, right? So the first thing you feel when you go into this is that this is a person, Trump, that's aging exponentially. And the second thing you go into is you want to look at how he has treated himself over the last 78 years. So number one, you look at genetics. Does he have good genetics? I think all of his siblings have passed. Is that correct? Is his sister still alive, or did she die as well? No, his brother died. Two of his brothers died. So surprisingly, he's the one that has lived the longest, or was living the longest, right? But so other things that can accelerate the aging process, drugs. Drugs can accelerate the aging process, and that's because they damage the kidneys, right? And that's because they're metabolized by the kidneys. They damage the liver because they're metabolized by the liver, right? So what is going to damage your organs? Pharmaceutical drugs that while they're there to maintain homeostasis, they come with a price, which is that over time they begin to damage the organs. The other thing that can accelerate aging is a bad diet, right? So you're talking about Diet Coke, Big Macs, right? So that's the other reason why we talk about Donald Trump not being, why we think he's aging exponentially. So then the next question is, if we're, you have doctors like John Garter and Retron talking about duty to warn. So if you're talking about exponential growth in somebody with this kind of a profile, me sitting in meditation with this patient, the patient is refusing to hand over his medical records, so we don't even know if he's on Aricept or some other medication for Alzheimer's. We have no idea who's walking into the White House. We don't have all of his financial commitments. We don't know if he's compromised. And we don't know, for all we know, this guy's on Aricept. And he's already been diagnosed with senility. You see what I'm saying? If you're in great shape, you don't hide your medical records. So now I want you to sit with all this information that you now have. You had it before. You had this information rolling around in the back of your head. You knew that the guy didn't sleep, that he was up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning tweeting, that he was probably an amphetamine addict, which is very, very common in the nightclub scene. You got to stay awake. You got to watch your money. Everybody's on amphetamines, according to people I've spoken to in the business. It was very common, maybe less so now, but massive, if nothing else, they're drinking massive cups of coffee. For him, being on amphetamines, being on caffeine, like drinking massive amounts of Coke, it's to stay awake and watch your money. Because people are out there spending money, they're dancing, they're gambling till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And you need to entertain those people. So yeah, you're going to stay awake. You're going to pop some Adderall. You're going to drink a bunch of Coca-Cola that's with caffeine, and you're going to want. But the problem with that is that the side effect of that is paranoia and increased risk for damage to the brain. Diabetes also damages the brain because it raises glucose, and glucose causes neuropathy, right? Because glucose damages nerve tissue. Well, your brain is nothing but nerve tissue, and that's the relationship between Alzheimer's and dementia, and the relationship between neuropathy and amyloid plaque formation in the brain and diabetes. So again, what are we looking at as we sit in this energy? We're looking at somebody whose rate of deterioration is so rapid that by March or April, it's becoming increasingly obvious by the American people on both sides that this cannot hold and that he has to be removed. Remember what kind of mental shape he was in 4 years ago. So let's think about that. If you know this, if I know this, the good doctor, right? I'm trying to be, right? I'm trying to be a good doctor. I'm trying to do duty to warn here. We're having a little fun, right? We're having fun, but it's also duty to warn, right? Those of us who are licensed physicians, right, or healthcare providers, we are coming together with a duty to warn, right? We're on the same page. I was one of the first people to write the article, right? So what do we take? So I can't imagine it going a different way. I can't imagine it going a different way. I am going to go ahead and predict that by April, there are universal calls for him to be removed. And I think it would be next to impossible for him to survive for a full year, given the rate of deterioration of his health. That's my opinion. Based on the energy, I don't read the future, which is why getting mad at me because I predicted the future wrong is kind of pointless. I look at energy, thought forms, I get into people's heads, I profile, and I use HCRV. So I know what people are planning. Whether they'll succeed or not, I don't know. For example, they had prepared to have Trump resign, but people came in and saved him. People like Bill Barr came in and prevented that from happening. But they were on the fence. I mean, you had people talking about wearing a wire. So it wasn't that the remote views got it wrong. In fact, when the truth came out, there were people that in the Justice Department that wanted to wear a wire, and we're talking about issuing Article 25 to have Trump removed. So the fact that it didn't happen was because he was rescued. The purpose of HCRV is to get in and try and find out what people like Rosenstein, was that his name? What was his name? The guy that we got into his documents and he was collecting all this data to get rid of Donald Trump, including a hard drive we found out that he had handed to Nancy Pelosi. He was actively doing what he could to get Trump out of there while trying to protect himself. So, yeah. For all of those reasons, Trump will not stay 4 years.